Whoa. Now, hopefully, my stream does not go out and it works well as it is now. But this is Stoic Revisited. This is part 8 of that. And I am just here, uh, just observing things as they go on right now. And I'm seeing cultural debates go on. And I believe that we are in a cultural war, but that doesn't mean that I have to be completely consumed with it. However, um, to a degree, I do get myself consumed with this uh, phenomenon as it's going on right now. Uh, Words are being changed, and old words and phrases are now being weaponized to do people harm and punish people. And there are a lot of intelligent people, a lot of times, with uh, who have right idea, who have smart and intelligent ideas, but then they get off into the crackpot ideas and crackpot ideology. And people could probably say the same thing about myself. It's just my observation right now of that. So, again, man had a hard time for whatever reason um, getting up today, as I have for the past couple of weeks. It's just been really hard, struggling with the diabetes, and I think I have even arthritis and other things that make things at times rather difficult. And I'm just trying to, maintain and work hard uh, as those who came before me strive to do the best I can and navigate through this world. Uh, and to a degree, be grateful that number one, I live in America, and I've had a lot of blessings. I've also had a lot of curses in my life, but again, I had no control over that. I have no control over where I was born, how I was born. From the moment of my fertilization, uh, I guess you could say, uh, I'm, I don't want to say, well, I said this on Twitter. We were talking about, uh, I guess, what do they call colonization, or, white people uh, being colonizers. And I was talking about black racial vendetta, which I believe is somewhat of a phenomenon, and I think it is a large portion of the mindset amongst blacks, probably not just in America, but throughout the West, and maybe even wherever whites are and blacks are prominent. There is a vendetta mindset that is prominent, and prominent enough, in my opinion, that it makes interaction difficult because things are weaponized, and you can't have a real relationship if you are walking on eggshells. And this is, happening prominently with blacks and whites, but it's also happening with whites and other racial minorities. All kind of want to perhaps get on the racial vendetta bandwagon against whites. And I was arguing with someone, and he was saying that, well, you were colonizers and blaming me for the history of the past. And I just said, I'm responsible, or My history begins with my fertilization, and it will end with my death. All other things I am not responsible for. And for the most part, I have no power. Most human beings have no power on anything. Whether, you think you have the power to vote, and I guess there is democracy, but really and truly, do any countries vote for their immigration policies? Do they really vote to whether we go to war or spend money or this or that? I mean, the internet and the censorship kind of shows that they don't want the average American talking and speaking, or the average person, because this is a worldwide thing. They don't want. They don't think that you can decipher information for yourself. They think that you're too ignorant, and that you're too emotional, and that if you hear wrong information, that you will act on that and act in a horrible way. So they have to kind of treat you like a child, and tell you what information you can decipher and what you can't. I mean, there is pornography all over the internet, which is not regulated at all. But I guess they feel that doesn't harm you. They used to feel that harmed you, that looking at pornography was bad for your mind and bad for your brain. Now things that are considered hateful are considered conspiracy theories. Those are things that are considered bad for your mind. But the consumption of pornography, it's really wrong and really bad. I mean, the consumption of pornography is not as bad to them as the consumption of what they consider, like I said, to be any form of hate speech and conspiracy theories. Those are too dangerous. But the fact that many men are drowning in pornography, and we're not talking about certain issues with regards to heterosexual males and their loneliness and the difficulty of the heterosexual male since the sexual revolution and women's hypergamy makes a lot of males rather lonely, and the desire to get a mate is not as available as it was in the past, because before women and men, I mean, women had limited options. I mean, because they couldn't just have, having sex was not, you had sex, sex outside of marriage, and you had to have things set before those, things would be available. So there was far less promiscuity, and it did to a degree, and I could be wrong on this, but it did to a degree help balance things out. And like I said, there are things wrong with that as well. But again, we cannot talk about these modern things because it's considered, I guess, misogyny. And you can't talk about racial issues because it's considered, it'll be considered hate speech. And hate speech is primarily things that are, is something against whites. It restricts white speech. And that's just the way it is. And there's not hell of a lot that one can do about it to a degree, because you don't have power. I'm just trying to gain and hopefully be around people who are just as thoughtful as me and who believe in truth, even if the truth is hard and difficult. I'm just trying to live through this life, and I have my own difficulties. I have my own, I guess you could say, sadnesses, but I want to kind of work through them. And I think to a degree, Stoicism and recognizing my feelings, but working beyond that and just doing what is necessary to maintain a more healthy and happy life is something that I do strive for. And living in reality, even if that reality is contrary to the prevailing culture, the popular culture right now, which are the most powerful culture, in my opinion, is wokeism. And I define woke as moral authoritarianism disguised as virtue. And people will say that's not the definition, and it comes from, it comes from, I guess, a black vernacular of racial injustice. But I always come back with words change, and words can also have more than one meaning, just as the word racism racism has more than one definition. So words can have more than one definition, and their meanings can change. And the powerful are now claiming to be still be victims, and they're fighting oppression while being oppressive. It's a very gaslighting group that we're fighting against, and they are making all of the terms, and they're claiming abuse while abusing, and every abuser has, in his mind, a valid excuse to abuse and be unfair. Now, is it really that unfair? Well, it does suck. And, the way they have changed the internet does suck. But, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do about it, perhaps. I don't have much power. And again, I just hope to meet people and meet nice people. And if I don't, I'm happy being by myself. And one day I'm going to die, so I might as strive to be brave without being overly emotional and over angry, because things are going to happen whether I like them or not. Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if there's anything that I missed. Thank you very much.